Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. This is Vicki, the Literal Crafter in Western New York, here with another episode of my studio tour series. Today's conversation is focused on mixed media, which I am using loosely as a catch-all for a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to dive in. I struggled with how to approach this video, so hopefully I made the right choice. We're going to dip our toe in. As you know, if you've seen my videos, I have a large studio. I have an unusual amount of space for mixed media, and I'm not sure that's hugely helpful to this audience. So I'm going to hone in really on some of my favorite supplies and tools, as well as some organizational tips. We'll dip our toe in. And we'll try to wrap this up. I do want you to walk away with ideas and inspiration. So that's my goal. This is another armoire that I purchased off of Facebook for 50 bucks, and then I have customized. So we're not going to go through everything. I do want to point out a couple of things. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod, and hopefully I don't wiggle too much. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is how easy it is to gain space. I have these two plastic drawer organizers, and then all I did was set a 1/4-inch piece of wood across the top of them. Now, the one thing that I want to point out, if you do this, is you don't want these to be like 5 feet apart, because a 1/4-inch piece of wood is actually quite flimsy, and you'll get a big dip in it. So you just want them spaced far enough apart that wood can hold whatever you put on it. I have a lightweight item, so it's fine. But imagine if you have a desk that you work on, and you can gain a shelf by using drawer organizers or the like on each end and then running a piece of wood across it. Nothing really to call out in here. This is a product fairly new to me. I thrifted it late last year. I've used it a little bit, but I want to play with it some more. Okay, another organizational tip. Save your boxes, guys. So these boxes are fantastic. They're flat, they're sturdy, and they allowed me to organize quite a bit of stuff in a little bit of space. Okay, so just to give you a feel for some of the things that are in here, these are some book pages from books that I had disassembled and I use to make mixed media backgrounds, like texture-y backgrounds and things. I have some plain fabrics and some vintage fabrics here, smaller pieces. They're ready to go to be used in mixed media, whether it's dyeing them with acrylic paint, painting on them, or the like, even using them on the gel plate. I have them there as a grab and go. This is just fabric that is also ready to go. It's just larger and I would have to tear it to use it. And then in this bin are found objects. Nothing to do with gel plating or anything like that. I'll just quickly show you some of the items that are in here. These tend to be larger, chunkier, found type of items. Most of this stuff I wouldn't use in a junk journal. I've used pieces of this type of thing on a cover, but for the most part, these are heavier, chunkier pieces. In this big section, you can see on the left is a black file box, and then on the right is a blue file box. These are papers. Well, on the left, those I tend to use on the gel plate. They're more like found papers, all different types of papers that I use for gel prints. Some thin, some thick, some patterned, some not. A couple of my favorites that I'll share with you. I did a video on my four of my favorites, and I'll share a few of those here. This is a cheap paper tablecloth from like the Dollar Tree. It's all textury. Boy, does that make gorgeous prints. This is cheap paper placemats, also textury. Those make great prints. Then the vacuum cleaner bags are a lot of fun on the gel plate. Those are 3 of my favorites. over here is mixed media and watercolor paper. Much of it I've thrifted. In case you're curious, I'll share with you my favorite mixed media paper, which is Bristol 300 Smooth by Strathmore. I'll give you a tip, and this is for US folks. I don't know about anywhere else, but Amazon throughout the year will have this on sale almost half price. When they do, I normally pick up like 4 books of it. Another mixed media paper that I use is Canson Graduate or it's a Walmart. I don't know if Michael sells this too, but it's a good enough paper, and it's pretty cheap. So everything else in here is thrifted watercolor and mixed media papers. In the middle there is just vinyl tablecloths that I put on my big mixed media table. I have acrylic inks. And that's about it for that section. And the very bottom this was configured with these 4 sections, and I left it that way. I just have a whole bunch of mixed media and watercolor papers that I've picked up really cheap, and now they're just there. That doesn't fit in the crate, so it's kind of overflow. Wonder how many people have stuff like this, right? So last year I was introduced to paper weaving, and I fell in love with it, and I had a whole bunch of scraps, and so I tore and cut them into strips to make paper weaves. So I organized them in here, and then I had colored ones in there. And I thought, wow, what a great couch project. When I'm sitting on the couch, frying my brain in front of the TV, I like to do little projects. So I thought paper weaving would be easy. I bring my 2 boxes up, I bring up some tape or whatnot, and I paper weave. Well, guess what? I don't. So those have been sitting there for a year. Very likely I'm going to purge most of that. But hopefully I'm not the only one who does these things, like falls in love with doing something, gathers a bunch of stuff for it, and then don't go back to it. Here's an organization tip, and this is a repeat from some of my other videos, but I'll never get tired of sharing it. So this armoire is pretty deep front to back. These shelves down here are maybe 5 inches tall, so kind of hard to use the full depth of them. So this box fits great in here, so I kind of made it into a drawer or a tray. It has some mostly small canvas and canvas paper in it, all of which I should get rid of because I never use it. And then underneath are 2 boxes for gel plate storage. This box is pretty good size. This is just a 12 by 12. On the door, I have the plastic placemats that a lot of people use on the gel plate to add texture and design. Those just fit well there, so I leave them there. Okay, we're going to turn around. So I now have my back to the armoire that we were just looking at. And you're looking at my 4 foot by 8 foot table. And I just want to show you the design. So when we got rid of our pool table and I was able to take over this half of the basement for my studio, I built this table with a very specific goal in mind: optimize storage. So we all love our folding tables until we don't. And folding tables often have legs on an angle, and it makes it really hard to use the space under it for good storage. So when I designed this table, I built it with straight legs. See how these legs just come down? And yes, there are supports, but they don't interfere with storage. So I'm going to bring the camera down just to show you how much storage is gained by not using a folding table, because my legs are straight and I have all that space underneath. Now, whether you have space for a giant table or whether you have space for a small table, those straight legs gain you a lot. So I wanted to share that, because if you're in a position to replace a folding table with a wood table, that's the way to go. This is used for a lot of things. It's used for mixed media projects. I did an Art Deco project and brought it down and put it on the table. You can see right here a glass mat. There's a gel plate on it at all times. If I need the table for something else, I just pick the whole glass mat up and move it. I have a gel plate experiment going on, so that's why there's piles of stuff right here. The other part of the table over there that looks messy, I wasn't even going to show you, but I will, is a die project that I have going on. Okay, I'm going to turn around here, face the back wall. This is a table with shelves on top that I built, similar design to the big one, straight legs, built at a specific height for these carts to fit underneath it. So I'm a big fan of carts, and especially if you have limited space. So I'm going to try to demonstrate this. I only have 2 carts over here, but when you have limited space, you can get a bunch of carts. And so I have one in front, one in back, and imagine 2 more in the back and then a wall. Right? It's so easy to get to what's behind because all you have to do is wheel a cart out of the way. So I'm a big, big fan of carts. This cart is, you can see I have a bunch of pastes and mediums, some mixing bowls, more pastes and mediums, and I do not have Velveeta cheese. That is matte medium. I have empty bottles that I use for various things, and on the bottom is more mediums and pastes, and I got those at a real estate sale, I don't know, about a month ago. So I want to play with them, so I put them all in a box on the bottom so I can just take them all out at once. Put that back. The other cart, paintbrushes, squeegees, applicators. I have spray paints that I rarely think to use. When I do think to use them, I'm glad I have them. There are some really large spatulas on that shelf. And on the bottom is kind of an embarrassment. These here I go through a lot. They're more of the neutral colors of acrylic, and I use them a lot, so I like to have extras on hand. The colors, though, I did a class last year, decided to play with color, which I rarely do, kept messing up and using up my paint, so I went out and stocked up, then I didn't use it. So it's sitting there. Okay, I'm going to put that back, trying not to make you guys too sick while I'm holding onto the camera here. The other half of this table over here is mostly fabrics. There's a couple under the bed bins that have really large paper in them. So that large paper, what I do is I take some out, I cut it down, I put it with my other paper that I use to make journals, and then when I use it up, I just go back in the bin and replenish. Okay, so this upper shelf here is in 2 sections, and we're going to look at the left section first. You can see I have an acrylic paint spinner. These are the paints that I use the most on my gel plate, along with Liquitex Basics or Members Touch, which is the Hobby Lobby brand like Liquitex. I'm not real good on the gel plate, so I don't spend the money on the quality stuff. I don't know what else is being stored here, so right now this is empty space. Empty space here. And if you've watched my other videos, you know I have saved boxes that fit these spaces, but I could be adding shelves. I just don't know. This is what I really want to show you guys, and one of the things I was most excited about when I designed this. This narrow shelf here. So I just have a piece of cardboard with tissue paper on top, and I have too much tissue paper on top. I had to take some off of there. It just slides in, and then I can easily grab it when I want to use the gel plate. I just found this other wad of paper, and I stuck it on there, and it's too much. Okay. Then I have another piece of cardboard I'm using as like a slider tray, and it has my silicone and Teflon mats on it. So those are things that you know, if I didn't have that narrow shelf, everything would just be stacked up on top of itself. And to get to one thing, I've got to move other things. And anyway, I love that shelf. On the top here, I had intended for this top space on the left side to be a sitting place for work in process projects, like this box that I'm working on, this little wooden thing I'm working on. I don't really have any other projects like that in play right now, so they're not up there, but it is nice to have a parking spot. I should come back to this spinner. Anybody who has seen it always asks me where I got it, and I'm 99% sure I got that on Amazon. Okay, the other half here. I consider this my mark and texture making center. I'm going to go kind of quick here, I hope. So this is all found objects that I use to make marks. Could be on the gel plate, could be directly on mixed media papers that I'm working on, all different kinds of stuff here. I mean, even chocolate molds, silicone trivets, anything that I can safely make a mark with without puncturing a gel plate. Then I have my box full of brayers, sponges. Notice everything is in these trays made out of boxes. Art foamies. A year ago, I'd never heard of art foamy. Now I just love them. Move this. These are just some larger mark making pieces. So in here, if you haven't seen this before, you can add texture to toilet paper rolls, and then you put it on one of these nifty little paint things, and you can use it on your gel plate or your mixed media papers. Some Stampin' Up! Wheels, same concept. I have a bunch of fibers that I use with mixed media printing. Here's a tip for you. When your paint gets low, you can add water or airbrush medium and use it as an acrylic ink. And I know people say, don't put water in your paint, it'll mold. I've never had that problem. Of course, there's not a lot of paint in there, and I don't have that for a long period of time, but it works for as long as I have it. So our acrylic ink sprays. And then this is just, I normally put water in those things and have them on my mixed media table. On the top, I have my Clorox cleanups, and then my spinner, wood glue, baby oil for my gel plate, and then don't we all have toilet bowl cleaner in our studios? No, just me? It's for dyeing fabric. That's why it's there. Okay, a couple more things to show you guys. This is where I hang my tube paints. When I did that, I was just looking to make it functional, get the paints off like a tabletop, have them organized. And when people come in, they love that. So I'm excited to show it to you. I do limit myself to that much. I could probably hang another 1 or 2 tubes, and then it's full. I do want to point something out in case you don't know. So Crafters Square acrylic paint is from Dollar Tree. Don't use it on your gel plate. I mean, you can. It's not going to hurt your gel plate. You're just going to get pretty crappy prints. So it's kind of a waste of effort and energy, and then you got to clean up your gel plate. I actually need to get rid of all of those tubes. I'm going to take one down so I remember to take them all down because I don't use them. So I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, I'm going to show you something else here. Now, if you have a real ceiling, this probably won't be helpful to you, but if you don't have a real ceiling, I want to show you this paper storage. It's totally makeshift. I literally threw it together, so I didn't do very much measuring or anything. I added the pieces of wood, drilled, used a hole saw to drill holes, got dowels, and hung paper. So just tell you kind of what's up here. That is, let me see what's what. This is kind of like a tissue-y paper. I really don't know what it is. It might be wet strength tissue. I thrifted it, and I really like it. This is medical paper, like you get, you know, that they put on your seat when you go to the doctor. And that works wonderful on the gel plate. Probably the master of medical paper on the gel plate is Jackie Bernardi. So you should check her out. This is just gold wrapping paper. It's heavyweight and the other side is pretty cool. So it's fun to gel print on that. And then this paper here, it's like a cross between copier and parchment or something. Again, I thrifted it. I like it, so I use it. My point with all that is medical exam paper is one of my top papers for the gel plate. And if you have an open ceiling, store stuff in it. Okay, I think that is all of my mixed media stuff to share with you. I do use the Tim Holtz Distress sprays, and I use a whole bunch of other pastes as well. And yes, I do recognize that they are normally considered mixed media. They're in another area of my studio. You would have seen them before in earlier videos. So I'm not going to repeat all that here. This was really just the mixed media part of my studio that I'm sharing with you today. So I hope this was beneficial. I hope you got some storage tips. If I was walking away from this video, I think one of the things that I would hone in on is the use of carts, layering them one in front of the other to gain a lot of easy storage that you can get to without lugging out tote after tote after tote. So most of these are fabrics that I have made with art foamies and acrylic paint and rust dyeing, and I just love looking at this. It's inspirational to me, so I thought I would share it with you. Here is just a paper cluster. So that's what I leave you with, a little bit of creative inspiration. Thank you for watching. I hope you will come back soon. Please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I hope you have a fantastic crafty day. Bye, guys.